Cubs here getting ready for the 2013 Bassmaster Classic down in Tulsa, Oklahoma in a couple days on Grand Lake. We're going to run down our top 3 baits here in a minute, and then we're going to talk about 5 or 6 guys we think have the best shot of winning it out of the 53 guys that are down there fishing this year. Let's start with our top 3 baits.
First bait we're going to go with, which everybody's talking about and everybody knows it's going to be a player, is the jerk bait. Everybody knows it's going to be cold water. They're saying the water's 42, 46 degrees. Might get colder with the cold nights. Ain't going to change too much. Jerk bait should be the main bait thrown by everybody. It'll be interesting to see which guys figure out, you know, which banks they should be on, what type of rock or gravel bank or steep bank or flat bank or what the deal is going to be. It'll be interesting to see by the end of Friday what most guys with the bigger bags are doing. Also with the jerk bait, it'll be interesting to see how fast guys are jerking it, you know, or how slow, how big a pause they're leaving in between jerks, you know, 30-second pauses. Some guys are talking about, I heard a couple other guys talking 60-second pauses. I don't know if it'll be that big of a, you know, break in between jerks, but jerk bait should be a big factor in this classic.
And for sure, if that water stays cold, that'll definitely be a key factor for a lot of guys, it sounds like. The other 2 baits we're going to talk about kind of can be fished shallow or deep, so depending if it stays cold or warm, you're going to see a different kind of bait on either one of these. So the first one was the jig. Obviously that can be fished deep. If it stays cold, you might see some more football jigs and things like that, kind of similar to what Elton Jones did in 08 at Lake Hartwell, fishing some deeper areas and won the Classic doing that on a jig. If it warms up a little bit, like they're saying for Sunday especially, where it might get to I think like 60-something degrees, then the jig's probably going to be a player more up in the shallow grass and things like that, and you'll see some more grass type jigs come into play. The other one we're going with is just the staple on the Elite Series is the crankbait, and again that's going to depend on water temperature and what the weather does down there. If it stays cold, you're probably going to see some deeper diver ones with a tighter wobble to them. Maybe like the shad wrap that Out Defoe likes to throw a lot.
Wiggle wart.
Wiggle wart, if it stays cold, a lot of guys like that for cold water early on in the spring. If it starts to warm up, you might see some more shallow running crankbaits, some square bills, things that KVD's used the last couple of years to, you know, put fish in the boat at the Classic. So depending on how that weather and that water warms up, you're going to see a jig and a crankbait. It just kind of depends, you know, again, what that water temperature does.
I think those first couple of days, guys are going to have the jerk bait going, but I think also a lot of guys are going to have the jig around boat docks.
Right. Yeah, they're talking about a lot of boat docks.
They're talking about a lot of boat docks. I don't know. Grand Lake's known for boat docks and stuff. A lot of locals fishing that. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how they incorporate all 3 baits. You know, and I'm sure there'll be 2 or 3 other baits that'll play a factor for some guys in certain areas. And
right.
We shall see.
All right, our top 5 guys that we're going with here, and again, this was kind of tough. We got a lot of Oklahoma guys. We ended up just picking one guy from Oklahoma and kind of leaving the other ones. And any of them really have a legitimate shot at winning it, but we try to whittle it down to one Oklahoma guy and then 4 other guys we thought could maybe play a role. So
no particular order here, just kind of the 5. We went through everything and kind of just came down with the 5 of what we're feeling. First one we're going to go with is Kevin Van Dam, KVD. No brainer with that one. He's got odds-on favorite. If you've seen Basscam on Bassmaster.com, he seems real confident. Other interviews he's had, he wants cold water.
Right.
He wants it to change a little bit, which we might see by day 3. Warmed up a little bit, maybe confuse some of the guys, and he should be right there at the top when it comes time to raise that trophy up.
He's always moving with the fish, it seems like. Our guy we went with from Oklahoma is Mike McClellan. And again, we could have went Edwin Evers, Jason Christie, Biffle, you know, there's a number of guys right from that area. But we feel like McClellan grew up not far from that lake, within like 100 miles of it. Well known for fishing boat docks, a good jerkbait fisherman. He's actually staying right on the lake, staying at a pole barn or something,
one of his sponsors, Falcon Rods, and the owner of Falcon Rods has a house on Grand Lake, and he's staying right there at the loft.
So yeah, we're going to go Mike McClellan for kind of our hometown guy. Again, you know, we've only had one guy, a home state guy, win the Classic. That was 2007 back at Lay Lake, Boyd Duckett. Otherwise, it's kind of been the home state curse. But if we're going to go with one guy from Oklahoma this year, it's going to be Mike McClellan for our pick.
And number 3 is going to be Aaron Martins. Strictly going with Aaron Martins because I feel like no matter what it ends up being, he's going to figure it out and going to be on the fish. He's great with the jerkbait.
Yeah.
If the fish are deep, he'll be able to throw a jig, but we also think he'll be throwing his drop shot if he has to.
Seems to always throw that drop shot no matter where they go.
Make it work. So as the days warm up each day, as they're talking Friday, Saturday, and Sunday being the warmest, we feel like he's going to adapt to it, and figure out if it is a pattern classic like they're talking it's going to be. No better guy than Aaron Martins to run a pattern on the lake.
And if anybody deserves it, it's Aaron Martins. All the second place finishes he has, and everybody knows about all that history there. So that's number 3. Number 4, we're going with Ike. I seen him on the Bass Cam pictures and photos they got from the classic practice. He's got the full beard going. He looks like he's ready to go game time. A northern guy, it's cold. You can never count Ike out, especially in the biggest stage, which the classic is. He's pretty good at everything. He's he's a finesse type guy that could play for sure if that water stays cold. So number 4 is Mike Iaconelli.
And number 5 with our last pick, we had, it came down to about 4 or 5 guys that we had to pick from.
Weed through them.
And we strictly kind of went on gut feeling on this one. We don't really know a ton about him in cold water, what he's done with it,
right,
how good he is when it comes to it, but strictly gut feeling, we're going with Brandon Polinick. Seems really confident, which I think is going to play a huge role for him coming into this classic. If he can be confident and do what he wants to do and is comfortable doing it, could see him at the end.
So those are our top 5. We also threw in our wild card kind of Van Dam combo pick, Jonathan Van Dam, a local favorite from up here in Michigan, just about an hour south of where we're from. You can never count out the Van Dams. Jonathan's used to fishing in the cold, just like KVD is his uncle, and so he's kind of our wild card number 6 pick.
Yeah, the big thing with Jonathan is it definitely helps when he's fishing with. He's got Zona and Kevin teaching him how to throw the jerkbait as he's growing up, so he's definitely going to have it dialed in when it comes down to it.
Absolutely.
Any one of these guys, I don't know if you could pick who's the favorite, but my gut feeling, I mean, it's everybody's going to say it, but I think Kevin. I feel like Kevin is going to be hard to beat in this.
Especially if, like we said, if it's that pattern type tournament where this is the deal and you can run this around the whole lake.
Good luck beating him.
Good luck beating Kevin, right? That running gun technique he's got, and he fishes faster than anybody else, and he's going to hit more spots than anybody else. And if it comes down to that kind of a tournament, it's pretty tough to bet against KVD. It's always tough to bet against KVD though. So those are our picks. If you want, leave your top 3 or 4 picks down in the comments section on our YouTube channel here, and keep looking back for more and more of our stuff on our Facebook page and our website. So
keep ripping lips.
You remember to keep ripping lips.